This is NECN Today.
Still a lot more ahead here on NECN. Would you believe there is some good news about bad behavior? Author Katherine Reynolds Lewis here to talk about her book and offer some tips to struggling parents.
Now, if you're a parent and your child's misbehaving, it leads to a whole host of thoughts and emotions. Is it normal? Is it your fault? How do you fix it? And those are just 3 of like 100 questions I have. But there is some good news about bad behavior. At least that's what Katherine Reynolds Lewis says, because that's the title of the book. Now, good morning, Katherine. Full disclosure, I've known Katherine for about 30 years,
You're
which
giving
makes
away
us
our
feel
age.
really old. But this is just an amazing project to take on, first of all. So I think the obvious question right off the top is, what is the good news about bad behavior?
The good news is that it's normal. It's part of how all kids are growing up these days, and there are research-backed, road-tested models of discipline that work with today's kids. And I studied 4 of them in the 5 years that I spent reporting this book, and they're easy to just start implementing tonight if you want to.
You know, it's funny though, because everyone says, like in the financial world, and everyone says this time it's different, it's never different, but you think this time it is different.
Right. Well, if you look at the National Institutes of Mental Health statistics, 1 in 2 kids will have a mood, behavioral disorder, or substance addiction by the time they're 18. So that's a huge number. It's 1 out of every 2 kids in your child's preschool. By the time they graduate high school, will have something going on. And even more chilling is the suicide rate, which has doubled in children 10 to 14 years old.
So it's more difficult for everybody than it used to be. I want to get to the overscheduling technology part of it, because that's so important. We talk about that a lot here. But this one topic we talked about off camera a little bit is that there's not necessarily a direct correlation between spending time with your kids and them doing better. And like, I personally reflect on my kids. Like, I hear stuff I shouldn't hear, and then I can't help not getting involved. When we were little, we just had to work it out on our own.
Right. And when we were little, we had so much more autonomy. We learned social skills and impulse control by playing with other kids without the adult nearby to intervene. And so often we think, oh, I'm not spending enough time with my kids. You feel guilty. And so sometimes you don't hold the line on discipline because of that guilt. So I'm here to say nobody should feel guilty. We actually spend more time with our kids than any other time since they started keeping time on parents.
Right. So I mean, basically, if they're on their own more, then they learn about conflict resolution without always relying on an adult to take care of it. And that's hugely important. I'm addicted to this scheduling technology piece of it, because I don't know when to give my kids a phone, and we go from one practice to another, just like so many families at home do. So what's the impact of that lifestyle on our kids right now?
Well, there's 3 factors in the book that I talk at length about that are causing this crisis of self-regulation of out-of-control kids, and the middle one is media. And so as long as you can delay is good. There's this wait till 8th grade campaign. And even then, once your kids get a cell phone, help them to use it responsibly, have it be a conversation where you have limits, the family agrees on them, and they really understand intentionally how they want to use the phone and when it can start to be a problem.
Yeah. Just quickly before we close, I mean, there's a million questions I have, but my kids are getting past sort of the timeout phase, but even you think that's a pretty contemporary approach that a lot of parents use. You don't think that works either?
No, when you are punishing or rewarding your kids, you're distracting them from learning from the experience and making them mad at you. So you're just drawing them into a power struggle. And really what's best is for kids to learn from the consequences of their own choices. Okay. And that's much more effective.
So what does that mean then? So you give them, take something, like what's the better alternative then?
The better alternative is a model in my book. It's 3 C's: connection between the adult and child, communication about the problem, and capability building. So bit by bit, building their skills and their ability to manage themselves.
Katherine Reynolds Lewis, the good news about bad behavior. Is it audio too?
Audio, ebook, and hardcover.
I'm going to listen to it in the car while I'm stuck in traffic. Thank you so much for joining us.